How's it going, Welcome back to the Derre video. Today is going to be more of a day in the life type of video. I'm just kind of going to be puttering around the yard, getting some things done. I got to clean up the mess of the snowplow left. I got to clean up the re-edge my front garden, and I'm going to be working on putting back together the broken spindle we have. However, we'll see how that goes. I'm going to also be putting a little bit of water on the front lawn because it was supposed to rain, and then the weatherman, you know, like he always does, lies. I gotta water the trees. Just kind of a whole bunch of few things I gotta get through today to get everything done that I want to do. So that's it, guys. I edged this garden again today, and I'm gonna tell you why. For those lawn care nuts out there, you will know that this is a severe problem with your gardens, and depending on if you do your gardens or somebody else does your gardens, it can be a battle between the two of you. So I help a little bit, but my mom tends to do most of the gardens around our yard. And ever since I've got the lawn growing really good, the lawn likes to grow, spread right into the gardens. And you can see it really well over here with all of this grass in the garden here, which we're gonna have to pull out. And there's quite a few locations like that. So because of that, and because our soil is so sandy here, I have to continuously, year after year, re-edge the gardens. And gardens that have mulch, like the one over there, they can't be re-edged as easily without destroying your mulch. So we normally only re-edge those every 1 to 2 years, depending on whenever we replace the mulch. But over here, this one, it's wide open. Normally we do it in the middle of the summer, but it's actually a lot easier to do it this spring. You guys can't see right now, this is full of daylilies and calla lilies. All the calla lilies are right here, and they're actually starting to come up. All of these are daylilies. We did not plant this garden. This was the way it was when we moved in, and my mom took over and cleaned it out. We have some invading dayflower. These are tulips. What we normally do is we'll come by an edge, but what you guys don't know is in the summer, this garden will be the height of that Canada flag right there. That's how tall that garden will be. All those daylilies will grow up. You'll get all the stems. These calla lilies will be probably the height of half the way up my leg, and they'll be spilling out over, and that's why you can see the grass isn't super thick along this edge. So because of that, that causes a lot of problems with edging. You have to kind of have somebody push back the flowers and edge it out. And the first time we did this, we ended up just taking out a chunk of the grass all the way along. But this time, now that it's been maintained, properly maintained, we can come along and just redefine that edge with a shovel, flick up the dirt and any of the roots or bulbs that you get up back into the garden, and that will help keep cycling in it, and it prevents an air gap for the rhizomes that are coming out of your grass to not go into the next garden. For those of you seeing this is called dayflower. It is a winter annual, comes up in the spring. It will die off eventually, but these flowers will create seeds, and you will get an infestation. My neighbor's house that I cut has a really bad infestation, and I get it over here just a little bit. But yeah, so if you don't want your yard to look like that, what you got to do is just come out, and you can pick them out with your hands as long as you get deep enough, or just let them grow. You can hit them with some Kill-X or some 2,4-D once the temperatures get higher. For those of you wondering if your pre-emergent will stop that, yes, it should. It's not a broadleaf, but pre-emergents don't stop broadleaves, which is something that I should have preferenced my pre-emergent video with. It will cut down on dandelions, but it will not stop dandelions as much as it will stop more annual invading weeds like crabgrass. The other thing I did is down here, this is where the plow comes down our street and pushes everything up over here, and the town actually planted grass here. It used to just be a weed pit, and they planted grass and then they just rip it up year after year. So there's a big pile. All this stuff in here was piled up along the back there. So technically this is not my land, it's the town's land, and I can call the town and they'll come and fix it because they caused the problem. But you know, we're stuck inside, and it was not too hard. Nice little job, and it just helps make the street look nicer for the community. So now that I finished those jobs, I'm gonna head back into the garage and do some work on the mower deck and give you guys an update on what's going on with the spindles. But before I do that, I think I'm gonna put a sprinkler out on the front yard because of the problems we're having with rain. It was supposed to be raining, pouring rain by now, and it's not. So because of the problems we're having with rain, I'm gonna quickly put a sprinkler out in the front yard and see if it will cover as best as we can, and how good it will cover just this lower area here. It's feeling a little bit dry, and the fertilizer is definitely not seeped in, and I don't want it to get carried away. So I'm just gonna water it in for about 30 minutes and it should be good. Set a 10-minute timer. Okay, so here's what we're dealing with the mower deck. Here's the old spindle. So what this does is this sits on top of the deck like this, and this is what the pulley attaches to that pulls it around, and this is what the blade attaches to underneath. So if you try to turn this, it's like impossible to do with one hand. So the bearings are seized or something. It is quite rusty compared to the other one, so something's gone wrong with this. It's probably the bearings inside. So anyways, we think that's what's causing the problem. Here are some pulleys as well. And if you rock the bearing back and forth inside, it's moving. It's rocking back and forth, which it shouldn't be. And it's the same thing in this one. It's rocking back and forth, which it shouldn't be. So we're gonna replace these while we're at replacing the spindle. Even though these aren't horribly broken, they say they only last 3 to 4 years. So, and the mower's 5 years old. So it's definitely time to replace. And we got a new pulley. We got another new pulley. And we got this box right here. This box is a John Deere spindle replacement kit, and with all the bolts and everything. It was only 50 bucks. Surprised how cheap it is, but I guess if they break every few years, they better be cheap. So see, I can easily turn that with one hand. Compare that to the other one, where I can barely turn it with one hand. So that is definitely the problem with our mower. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and remount this spindle. And we all found this out. We went to go replace the belt, and it was making a rubbing noise. And when you turn it off, you can hear zh, 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 zh. And that's the sound, or the bearings in that spindle, because it was very difficult to remove. So we took the spindle off, and now we're gonna replace this spindle with another one. This one still works fine. As you can see, I can easily turn that with my hand. However, this is gonna be a problem probably in a year or two. It's gonna do the same thing as the other one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just replace this one for now. Maybe next year or upcoming years, or until we have a problem with it, we'll replace the other one so there's even better. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly wash this, because this is actually quite dirty. We're gonna mount the new pulleys, we're gonna mount the new spindle. So without further ado, let's get into it. We'll replace the spindles. Even exposure here. So this is a spindle. And what we gotta do is we gotta put this area on the bottom. This is where the blade goes on. And this with the grease fitting on the top. So you're gonna put all these 4 bolts through those holes. And then you're gonna take your packet of screws and you're gonna put them on. Take the spindle. Pop it through there. So you can get all the bolts to line up. Take these lock nuts, just thread them on. Just good. Okay, so there we go. That spindle's on there, solid. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the pulley on, and then we're just gonna loosely thread the bolt. We're gonna put it on tomorrow, officially, but for now, let's just put the pulley on. Okay, so this is the pulley. Just drops on like so. And it should lock on there. It's got. So I'm just gonna clean this plate up here. All nice. And this is where the big pulley goes. So without further ado, let's go get the big pulley. And now that's open, we got out the big pulley. Now, the difference between this one is when I rock this bearing back and forth, there's no play. So that pulley should sit right on there like a so. So I checked the other one, it goes bolts on the top, holes on the bottom. I'm gonna take this and its corresponding nut. Now this goes through here and in that notch. This goes on with this standoff like a so, and then I'm not gonna put the belt on it yet. It's gonna wait till we have every spindle installed. Now we're gonna go for the little pulley. It already has the standoff installed. I don't know why one comes with a standoff and the other one doesn't, but who knows? Here we go. This goes through here, and I'm kind of doing this as a tutorial for you guys because I could not find tutorials when I went on YouTube. So when you're installing this bracket, it's got to go in this indent that you can see right here that I can stick my finger in, and same with the other one. That indent right there, and this one right there. So see, when I put that through, that goes evenly into that indent. So that is the wrong part. We don't know what the heck is wrong with it, but it's actually the reverse of what that pulley is. So we're gonna contact our John Deere dealership once again and see, hey, is this the right pulley or the wrong pulley? We got no idea. So for now, we put on the old pulley. Probably what we should do is test with the old pulley to make sure that the spindle is actually what the problem is. And if the noise is gone, then we can go ahead and contact the John Deere dealership and replace the pulley. But I have all faith that that was the problem. So now, without further ado, I'm gonna go water our trees that we planted last year, just before I head in for the day, because I gotta edit this video, I gotta edit a fertilizer video that you guys probably saw before this, and I gotta edit a video for my second channel. So I got a lot of editing to do. In the Great Green North, my name's Whitberry. I thank you guys for watching this video. I hope it helped you, and keep it green.
Hey! Franchise does look very large. Hey!